Welcome to our book reading series. Today we continue our journey through the classic Christian book, Abraham, The Obedience of Faith, written by F.B. Meyer. In this episode, we'll be reading Chapter 7, titled, The Two Paths. In this story, we'll witness a quiet but powerful moment, when Abraham and his nephew Lot stood side by side and had to choose. What follows is not just about a division of land, it's about the dividing line between two kinds of lives. Abraham's choice wasn't easy. He had every right to take the better part, but he let go. And by letting go, he moved even closer to God's promise. Let's begin. What follows is not just about a division of land, it's about the dividing line between two kinds of lives. Abraham and Lot stood together on the heights of Bethel. Spread out before them was the land of promise, rolling hills, dry ridges, hidden valleys, modest, quiet, humble. But to the southeast, there was something different. There, the waters of the Jordan shimmered like silver threads across a lush, wide valley. The land was green, fertile, abundant. Lot's eyes locked on it instantly. He saw wealth. He saw ease. He saw comfort and beauty and success. To him it looked like Eden, or maybe Egypt, and in that moment, Lot made his choice. Abraham had just offered him something remarkable, first pick of the land. He could have claimed the best for himself, but he didn't. Abraham gave Lot the chance to choose, and Lot did choose, quickly, decisively, without hesitation. Did he think Abraham was being naive? Did he think, I'd be foolish not to take the better land? He probably did. Because Lot wasn't looking for an altar, he was looking for a pasture. Genesis chapter 13 verse 10 says, Lot lifted up his eyes and beheld all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere, even as the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt. Then Lot chose him all the plain of Jordan. Lot didn't ask God what he wanted. He didn't ask what was right. He only asked, what looks best to me? He chose by sight, not by faith. And he never imagined that the man he had just taken advantage of, Abraham, would one day save his life. Not once, but twice. Lot's choice is painfully familiar. From the high places of decision, generation after generation has made the same mistake. We still hear the whisper, just bow the knee, and all this can be yours. The best salary, but in a corrupt industry. The most prestigious school, but one that mocks God. The most lucrative deal, but at the cost of integrity. The fastest path to success, but paved with moral shortcuts. Like Lot, many don't pause to ask, what will this do to my soul? How will this influence my children? Is this God's direction or just what looks good? And so they choose for themselves and head toward Sodom. We must be careful not to judge Lot too quickly, unless we're willing to judge ourselves by the same measure. Because Lot only did what many believers still do today, choosing careers, homes, relationships, and futures, without once asking God. He is not just a man in the book of Genesis. He is a mirror, a reflection of how easily we can choose comfort over calling. Imagine a Christian man showing you the country home he plans to buy. It's beautiful, peaceful, perfect for the family. And then you ask, where will you and your family worship on Sundays? He pauses. Maybe he hadn't thought of that. Maybe there's no solid church nearby. But the neighborhood is great. That is the spirit of Lot. He traded Abraham's altar for Sodom's green grass, not because God sent him, but because it looked good. Many Christian families have made decisions, school, career, marriage, location, based only on what seemed attractive on the surface, but they never asked, Lord, is this your will? Lot looked toward Sodom. Then he pitched his tent near Sodom. Then he moved into Sodom. Then he became a leader there, sitting in the gate. Eventually, his daughters married Sodomites. He lost all spiritual influence. When judgment came, no one listened to his warnings. His possessions were destroyed. His wife turned into a pillar of salt, and Lot ended up hiding in a cave, alone, broken, full of regret. A man who once walked beside Abraham, now reduced to ashes and sorrow. This is what happens when we choose what looks good, without asking what is good. But now, let us return to Abraham. Abraham stood alone. Lot had left. The companionship was gone. The camp was quiet. The dust had settled. And in that moment, God came near. Genesis chapter 13, verse 14 says, "And the Lord said unto Abram," after that, Lot was separated from him. When Abraham let go of Lot, he made space for God, and God stepped into that space. So often, when we choose to separate from what is comfortable but compromising, we find deeper closeness with God. God says, "You've let go for my sake. Now let me show you something greater." Abraham had lifted his eyes too, but not on his own. He waited for God's direction. And then the Lord said to him in Genesis chapter 13, verses 14 and 15, "Lift up now thine eyes, and look from the place where thou art, northward and southward and eastward and westward, for all the land which thou seest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed forever." Lot had to beg to stay in Sodom. Abraham was freely given everything by God himself. Psalm chapter 84, verse 11 says, "The Lord will withhold no good thing from them that walk uprightly." Abraham didn't lose by letting Lot choose first. He gained more than he ever imagined. God then told Abraham in Genesis chapter 13, verse 17, "Arise, walk through the land in the length of it and in the breadth of it, for I will give it unto thee." God was saying, don't just admire the promise, walk in it. Don't just believe it exists, live as if it's already yours. This is what real faith looks like. God says to you and me today, the promises are yours. Walk in them. The grace is yours. Lay hold of it. The joy, the peace, the power, they are all available, but we must step forward by faith. So Abraham moved. He settled in a place called Hebron, which means fellowship, and he built another altar, because every new blessing from God calls for a deeper response from us. We don't just receive, we worship. We don't just enjoy, we offer ourselves again. This is the path of Abraham. Let others chase green grass. Let others choose first. As for us, let God choose for us. Today we read from the book Abraham, The Obedience of Faith, by F.B. Meyer, chapter 7, The Two Paths. We saw two men standing on a hill. One chose by sight, the other by faith. One moved toward comfort, the other moved toward promise. One ended in a cave, the other built an altar. Which path will we choose? If today's story stirred your heart, we invite you to keep walking with us. Join us as we read this book one chapter a day, discovering the life of a man who became a friend of God. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss tomorrow's chapter, and share this with someone who's standing at their own crossroads today. Thank you for reading with us. See you in the next chapter.